Hello and welcome to Arabian Business TV. What would you do with unwanted or unused mobile phones and laptops? Well, the solution might come with the Green Foundation. I've come to meet the CEO of the Green Foundation, Mr. Dominic Gothard, to find out and to see how it all works and what goes on behind the scenes. Hi Dominic, thanks for joining us on Arabian Business TV.
Thanks, Mona. Nice to be here.
Right, can you tell me how you came about with the idea of the Green Foundation, please?
Well, I'd love to say the idea is original, but it's not. We plagiarised it from many similar schemes that are running in the UK at the moment. The idea of recycling, of course, is not new. It's been around for a long time, but over the last 5 to 10 years, recycling of electronics has really grown in speed. There are now 20 to 30 companies doing it in the UK, so it's a very competitive environment there. So the idea is not new, but what we've done is we've taken that model and we've brought it to the Middle East, the subcontinent region as well, because we believe that there's such a market here. There are so many second-hand units around, as many as perhaps 10 million in the UAE alone.
How many charities have you worked with since you established the foundation, and are you working with any in the region?
Well, the foundation here has only been going since January, so we're still working on putting together a number of charity partners, but we are talking to a number of very big and very credible charities, and we hope to be closing the first of those deals in the next few weeks. In terms of what we've done elsewhere, we've worked with 150 registered charities in the last 3 years. They include World Wildlife Fund, Make-A-Wish Foundation, to really good causes, breast cancer research. And in the last 3 years, we've raised $4.5 million by people donating what they don't use anymore, and we've converted that into cash.
You set up the very successful initiative Cash for Mobiles and Cash for Laptops. Do you plan on introducing cash for any electronic items in the future?
Yes, indeed. I mean, the initial 2 schemes were very much to see what kind of reaction there was. There's been a fantastic reaction to that. So what we're actually doing is launching a multi-retail platform in July, and that will be mobiles, laptops, MP3 players, digital cameras and gaming consoles.
Where do you actually recycle your items, and which emerging markets do you resell to?
Mobile phones are recycled here. I'll just give you a bit of background as to how we actually recycle. For the mobile phones, we separate the grading into 3 levels. So the first level is working, where literally that phone can be reused as it stands. The second level would be non-working, which means that there's an issue that needs to be corrected, but it's a relatively minor one, and we do that here in the UAE. And the third categorisation is beyond economic repair. In that instance, it's beyond saving, but what we tend to do is break that down and use it as spare parts to upgrade the non-working phones to working, and any items that can't be used will then recycle. So the metals will be melted down, the precious metals will be melted, and then the plastics. But the bottom line is that none of that phone will ever be put into landfill, and we will recycle 100% of it.
What are the environmental benefits of recycling electronic goods?
Oh my goodness, I don't really know where to start. It's such a big question. If you look at how a phone is manufactured originally, you're using 40 gallons of petrol just to manufacture the phone in the first place, aside of all the metals and the plastics that go into that. So that's an incredibly destructive process in its own right. You've then got the fact that, as I said to you, at the moment all these phones are being put into landfill here, which, as I said, is a very, very dangerous thing to happen, because they carry corrosive materials, hazardous waste, chemicals and toxins that, if let going into the ground, will affect the water supply and could even kill. So it's a very important issue, this. On top of that, there's actually, as I said to you a moment ago, we can actually convert these into benefits. At the moment, there are lots of people in the world who can't afford a brand new phone. They live in rural areas where communication is very difficult, and yet it's vital to survival. So what we do is we take our phones and we engineer them with qualified engineers. We put them back into African markets. People can buy good quality phones instead of perhaps the less, what's the word I'm looking for? Qualified phones that maybe will last a week to a month. And then what we do is we sell them at a price that can be afforded. And these people then go into the townships, they can carry some form of communication, and it can change their lives.
So can you give me an idea of how much, you know, an old Nokia phone would cost now?
Well, an old Nokia phone, it depends on the make and model and the condition of the phone. But we normally pay somebody around about the $10 to $15 mark for an old phone. So that in itself, you could argue, is not a great deal of money, but then I could argue it's worth nothing when it's sitting in your drawer. So give it to us, use the money to go to the cinema with perhaps, or something like that. We'll then take that phone, we'll recycle it at about 25%, and then we'll sell it on to our friends in Africa who can use it, as I said, in a much more productive way.